And we are pleased to once again have Chantal Bisson joining us on our parenting panel. Chantal is an advice columnist for Milk and Heels magazine and also regularly contributes to the Huffington Post Canada, talking about parenting and relationships. So welcome again, Chantal, for another round, I guess we could say.
Hi, thanks. Be back.
Now, the first subject today we're going to talk about is curfews, and this is something that people battle with all the time. So what is your advice for determining an appropriate curfew?
Well, again, and I've said this before here on the panel, I'm not going to probably win any fans with this one, but I didn't do it alone. We raised our girls that during the week, they weren't allowed to actually go out. During the school week, they were expected to be home, have family time. They were allowed to have friends over, but they weren't allowed to go out and roam the street, go to the mall, whatnot. Our expectation for them was that they were going to be focusing on their schoolwork and that they would be involved in extracurricular activities that would keep them busy, that would keep them healthy. So we didn't really have an issue with curfews per se until the girls hit high school and those extracurricular activities started to fall by the wayside. And then we started to just go by how we felt was in their best interest as far as safety. Yannick was always famous for saying nothing good happens after midnight. So if you are the kind of parent that you feel like your child should be allowed to go out during weeknights, during school nights, that's fine. That's all on you. It's all good. I always recommend that you try to have your child back, back in the day when we were growing up before the street lights came on.
Right, yes.
But I think that if you are going to allow your child out, I think 8 p.m. on a school night is an appropriate age for a middle school student. I think once you get to those older ages, I would say 10 p.m. is a very fair time. We had our girls allowed out on the weekend. They were allowed first 11 o'clock. Then when they became, grade 11, it was 11:30. And then by the time they were graduating high school, it was midnight.
So now how do you deal with it though? Because there's always those one or two friends that either don't have a curfew or their curfew is a lot later. So how do you handle that?
We handled it like this. If all your friends jumped off a bridge, would you too?
Right.
And, we used to say things like, those are their parents. We are your parents. Again, I say you've got to talk to your kids and you've got to explain to them the reasons why you're making the decisions that you make. You're doing it out of love. You want them to be safe. You want them to be rested when they go to school, all these things. I think that it's really, really important as parents that when there's an established respect and trust in the relationship, you're really not going to lock horns all that much. I know it sounds crazy, and if you're on the other side of it where you haven't yet gone into the teen years, I honestly can tell you with our eldest and our youngest, the number of times that we actually had throwdown, knockdown, drag out fights with them. It wasn't very often. Our middle girl was another story. She was a curfew buster. So when she would break curfew, it was really simple. Our kids knew if you broke curfew, when you got home, you would not have your laptop. Or if you were, second offense, you wouldn't have your phone either. So we allowed them to go out. We allowed them to have their curfew. We also gave them the opportunity to break it. And when they did, there was a consequence.
All right. Thank you so much, Chantal. You can continue this discussion with Chantal on Twitter and Instagram at Chantal Bisson, or check out her website, chantalbisson.com. And joining us for the last time this month is Chantal Bisson. And Chantal, this time we're going to talk about extracurricular activities. Big deal, especially in a small city like Lloydminster where we are, so much that kids can get involved in. So how do you balance all of that? There's travel, there's money, you have to keep things organized. Where do you even start with that?
Wow, extracurricular activities. That's a hot potato topic. And I'll tell you why I think that. I think because what I'm noticing now is a lot of parents are actually over-programming their children. I think that what we need to realize as parents is that even kids want downtime and need downtime. So I think it's not necessary to have your kid in something Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then all weekend long. And it's also good for you as a parent to not have to be always running around. So what we always did is we had the girls sort of pick their very, very, very favorite thing. Our eldest, it was figure skating. Our middle girl, it was horseback riding. And the little one, it was gymnastics and then subsequently cheer. So that was their primary extracurricular activity. And then we encouraged them to get involved in school life, after school sport, after school drama, or art, so that there was a good round balance, in their life and in your life also as a parent. So I think it's key when you're booking extracurricular activities is to look it over on a calendar. Like Physically write it down to see if it's even doable, not only for your kid, but for you as well as a parent.
Now, what about a scenario, Chantel, where a family can't afford certain extracurricular activities? I know a lot of times there are programs at the school, but it does make it tough if people have, or if children have friends that are going to these and other kids can't afford it. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we ran into that quite a lot because I was a stay-at-home mom and Yannick was and is an actor, and there was a lot of time, many years where he had no work whatsoever. So I think that how we coped with those years, those really dry financial years, were we had the girls pick something that didn't require any equipment. And also that's something that the school could offer so that it would be covered and free. So you've got like choir, or you've got drama classes.
Right.
But, there's school sports that they can get involved in that are already part of your tax dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you fall on hard times once the child is already in a sport, like we did with our girls, it then becomes about dialing it back to allow the child to still participate on some level, but not in a way that's going to financially strap you. So it's about being financially responsible and, not, hopefully it doesn't get to the point where you have to take your child completely out of the activity. But if it does, I think that that's when it's really important to look into your community centers to see what sort of sports they're offering that are either free or for a very minimal cost, and then try to help your child turn a corner and maybe pick up another interest that's not as financially debilitating.
Okay, great.
Like
Well, thank you so much, Chantel. We really appreciate you being here, and hopefully you'll join us again in the future. We'll be talking soon, put it that way.
Okay, great. Look forward to it.
And you can follow Chantel on Twitter and Instagram at Chantel Bisson, or the website chantelbisson.com.